I'm sorry, my Sindhi is not very good yet. Unji Sindhi language, Nandi. Oh. Never mind. So I heard Sohail give some of the backstory, but I'm not sure how much he said, so I may be repeating some of what he said, but yeah, I feel I've been in love with Algoza for 10 or 15 years now. Totally enchanted by the sound of Kamisukan and many others, and always wanted to learn the instrument, and it was a dream for me for a long time. It was very difficult to find the instrument. We can find in Chicago, we can find sitar, tabla, kolak, sarod. A lot of those instruments are available because so many people are traveling to India and learning the music and bringing it back. But Algoza is a much more obscure instrument, so it was almost impossible to find. And eventually I found it and started playing, and I played semi-professionally on other instruments, on saxophone, and I also play in a Bengali folk group. I play Brazilian music, and we do small gigs here and there. And I played Algoza just because I really loved it a lot, and I never thought that I would even have one professional gig on the Algoza, but I just kept playing anyway. And then I met my teacher, and he showed me the traditional repertoire. He was supposed to come to the USA for a SANA conference, Sindhi Association in North America, and when he couldn't get his visa, he recommended that I play. So they called me, and I had no idea what this conference was. At that point, I knew very little of Sindhi culture. My ustad would say, "This song is Latif," and then he'd teach me another song. "This song is Latif," and I'd be like, "How can both songs be Latif?" I didn't know. What do you mean Latif? I didn't know anything about Abdul Latif. So Algoza was really a window into Sindhi culture for me, and when I arrived at Sana and performed, they were overwhelmed, and I was overwhelmed, and it was just, it was overwhelming, the love, the excitement that they had that I was playing this instrument, and with both Ajaz Turk and Sohail Ansari, we stayed up very late into the night reciting poetry, and I remember Ajaz singing Tiri Pawanda. He sings it really soulfully, and I thought, I like this guy, and Sohail, I felt very comfortable around. So those were the seeds planted for this trip. This is my first time in Sindh, and I feel that I've gotten so much from Sindhi culture and from the Algoza. And I know that Sindh has a lot of problems, and that the folk musicians face a lot of difficulty, and it's a vulnerable tradition. So I feel especially that something that I have gotten so much from, I really want to give back, and I want it to survive, and not just survive, but thrive. I think of all the eras, so many eras in 5,000 years of history, when Sindhi culture has thrived, when the music has thrived, and it's still thriving, despite the difficulties, which I feel very amazed by all of you, the way that you carry your culture. I have carried it for so long, and its values, but so I feel that anything that I can do to help the culture survive so it still exists for people like me to enjoy it, and for you to enjoy it, I feel very strongly about that. So this trip was partly for me to enjoy Sindhi culture on my own and experience it, and get to play with musicians steeped in the culture, because it's really hard to play Algoza music in Chicago where nobody knows the music. I have to sort of try to teach my friends, but they're not obsessed with it the way that I am. You know, I'm always listening to Sindhi music, so it's really got steeped into me. But some of my other friends, they have all these other interests, so their attention is not quite there. So it's been amazing to play Sindhi music in its native homeland with native musicians. Just the feeling. The first time I played at Lahuti with my team of banjo nawaz, dholak nawaz, tabla nawaz, harmonium nawaz, when I play the alap and then I start the sur, and they all come in, and it just like this, wow, like feeling going through me, like, whoa, you know. So some of it was for my own enjoyment, but also there's so few, you know, on YouTube. Like I'm running out of recordings to listen to. I've listened to every recording so many times, and I'm not exactly bored of it yet. I still listen to it because they're so good. Like Kamiso Khan and Gospo Rohi and Nusri Khan Jamali, Alavachaya Hoso, and others. But I wish there was more. So I'm thinking, I want to come to Sin and I want to make recordings, right? I want to get recordings of the masters, and we just got 2 or 3 hours of footage with high quality stereo audio of Musbak Rohi and Irfan Rohi and Ruham Nabi Jamali. So I'm really excited to publish that and put more footage out there and show more of the world what this music is. Maybe some other American or Belgian person or something, or Japanese person will see this footage and be like, oh, just like me, oh, I really want to learn, Surindo, you know, or Algoza or whatever. And so I really want to help promote the music. I feel that the musicians are, they struggle a lot financially, and they're all very humble. They live humble lives, and even if they're poor, they'll still play the music. But that doesn't mean they should have to be poor. I think that they deserve to make a dignified living playing their music, and the better we patronize the musicians, the more their tradition can thrive. And I feel the same way about handicrafts, and I love Atta Chanhyol's work. I wish I understood Sindhi more, but I still, even without knowing what I'm hearing, watching and visit the ajrak makers and the rope makers and everything, I'm like, oh, this is so awesome, you know. As similar to the music, I also like to make stuff. So I see people making things in traditional ways, and the real ajrak, you know, that smells so good, you know, and has vibrant colors, and it's not just the product, it's where it comes from, it's the story behind it, right? The life behind the product and the life on earth that you're supporting. When you buy a real ajrak, you are supporting your culture, right? So I feel the same way about the handicrafts, and I just really want it to be alive and survive for another 5,000 years. So yeah, thank you, and I know you all do too. So I'm just, this trip is like my little tiny part to like try to help make some of that happen, and so yeah, thank you all for having me, and thank you for sharing your culture. Yeah.